Let's go. Here we go. All right. All right, the Western major scale has the melodic interval series. So remember from last lesson, lesson 2, we had a quick peek at the Western major scale. And so a melodic interval series is just a from going from one note to the next note to the next note to the next note, right? So in the West, and you know all about tones and semitones now from lesson 2. So let's continue. So we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So let's have a look here. So we put our hand on C, and we call that, we're going to start within the key of C. We'll call that the root note, okay? We always start root note. C is not an interval, it's just a single note. The first interval takes 2 notes, a bass note, and the next note is D. So we just go C, right? So we go tone, tone, right? Then we're going to put our thumb under. In the next lesson, we're going to learn all the hand placements to be able to play these. So don't worry about that now. I just want you to get the theory, just to understand how these are made for now. But you can follow along with your hands if you like. So, and we're just going to put our thumb under. All right, so that's a semitone. So it's root note, tone, tone, semitone. Let's line up your hand. Tone, tone, tone. And then the final semitone back to the root note. Okay, and then we can just roll down. Don't go faster than this. Right. And now on the left hand, we're just going to play that bass note. Right, we're just going to have that ringing. Now, when we get back up here again, we'll ring it again. So what we're trying to do here is we're listening for the tonality, right, of each note. So in our head, it's all happening subconsciously. Right, you're hearing the interval, okay? So we're going to start with, hit that. So root note, right? You can hit them together if you like. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now once you learn tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, right? Stick that in your memory. It's the only melodic series you're going to ever have to know. And really, once you know all your scales, you're going to learn them visually. So you won't even have to use that ever again, right? Once you know your scales. So by the third lesson, you're going to know all your scales visually, right? And find every note, okay? And every interval, more importantly, all right? So we also learnt from lesson 2 on intervals that this is 1, right? Well, let's continue because we're going to describe that here. So we've already mentioned this, the only melodic series you ever need to know, because it enables you to derive and remember all the modes. And we're going to get into modes too, right? Because if you know the Ionian mode, right, you know all the modes, right? And we're going to get into, modes is a bit more advanced, and you're going to lead your way up to there. I have no idea what lesson that's going to be. Shush, mate. All right. Now, the numbers, remember from last lesson, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you can count to 7, right, you know your Western major scale, right? Is the Western major scale the harmonic interval series? So that's what we have, that bass note down here. We play that bass note, and that's 1, right? And so that's an octave, right? And you can hear that, it's a second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So we play that note. That's just an ear training, just so we can, for the tonality, we can hear that interval. So our brain's already in tuned now for that scale. Right? If I play one note out of there, which that happens to be this C melodic minor scale. Right? Sounds different, doesn't it? So that's the tonality, is all the notes together, and where our ear's very used to listening to the Western major scale. Let's continue. He thinks I'm just it's too slow, and a lot of people are just going to leave. Well, if you're going to leave, well, that's fine, but the idea of these lessons is for you to learn piano, so I recommend you hang around if you want to be able to play piano. Okay. And this isn't for the masses anyway, these videos. These are just for my personal students, right? So they can have a record, they can download the PDF. The PDF of all these videos I'm doing, all the lesson videos, will be available. And of course, my book is available, and on the channel link. And in the description, you'll find the PDF. I'm just getting over a cold. I've been getting over it for the last few days, so excuse if I'm coughing and that. All right, so let's just go back, not backspace. Oh, that's pretty nifty, isn't it? The numbers 1, 2, 3 is the Western major scale. So in the C, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5. Now, there's no point counting backwards, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's no point, really, because the reason is, when we learn something in a serial fashion, 1, 2, we're not really learning anything. It just becomes a muscle memory reaction, and we're not actually learning anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's how our brain works. It's a serial system, our brain, all neurons connected to neurons. So once you sort of bring in a memory, right, it triggers the connections, right, and as you go along, and then the memory starts to fill in, right? So our brains are very good at that. And most people who learn piano, right, probably 90% of people who learn piano relying totally on just muscle memory. In the Akousunesis method, I know I'm yapping on, but this is important, so shut up. In the Akousunesis method, right, we try to break muscle memory, right? Muscle memory is useful, right? So don't get me wrong, it's actually very useful. But if you're just going to learn a song with muscle memory, well, you're just going to learn to play that song and not do anything with the song, right? It's just going to learn, right? I'd hate to say it, but a bit like a robot. But you can put, of course, you can put your emotion and your feel and that. But if you're going to just learn the song outright, well, that's all you'll be able to do, okay? If you want to have fun with a song and you want to change it, you know, and do interesting things, you need to learn this method. You need to understand. So the Akousunesis method, Akou means to listen, Sunesis is with understanding, right? And you bring them together in this system. Yeah, okay, I've been going on. This video is probably going to draw on, but let's get on to it. So 1, that's why I have the PDF. You can just download it and read it, okay? You'll get the information without this yapping and entertainment, if it's entertainment or it's just irritating, I don't know. 1, 2, I'll find out eventually. When my views are like 3 or 4, yeah, all right, it's a bit irritating, right? Yeah. But yeah, as I said, it's not really about views. It's about my students. Anyway, I'm running a business here. I'm selling my book, right? And I'm selling these PDFs for $5, which is cheap as chips, right? And my book's cheap as chips if you want to learn piano. Considering I was charging $50 a student, right? I'm giving away everything I know in a book. Okay, you got to do all the work, but that's, in any case, if you're getting piano lessons and you're paying $50 a lesson, right, you need to practice. You're not going to magically become a piano player just because you're paying someone $50 a lesson or $60 or whatever you're paying them without you practicing. And so practice. All right, blah, 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 blah. Let's get moving on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now, we also want to press the bass note here too, the C, lower C. And if you're really keen, you can do this. Now that, you can hear it when I'm doing that, right? Okay. It's reinforcing both of them. You can actually hear them played together because when you just press one note, it fades away down, right? It's fading away. So you can't hear that dissonant sound as good as when you press it together, right? And it's that sound is we're training our ear to hear, okay? So we're not just learning as a muscle reaction, we're training our ear as well at the same time. So we're killing 2 birds with one stone, right? Very important. Now this is very boring. Exercises are boring, right? So you're going to find in the next lesson, we're going to have fun, right? We're going to start to get fun with our scales, right? We're going to make up melodies with our scales, right? Within constraints. We're going to have some constraints, so you can't go too crazy. And the constraints help you learn, right? Because when you've got too many variables, it gets chaotic, right? You constrain yourself down to a few little constraints, and then you start to learn. Okay, so let's continue. All right, now, next, finally. Now, so to find all the notes in the key of G, we're going to go around the circle of fifths. I'm going to show you that at the end, not at the end, within the next few pages, as a quick look. But we go around in fifths. So if you put your hand on the piano, G is a 5, and it's got nothing to do with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, all right? It's the interval 5. We don't use finger numbers in the Akousunesis method. That's a pinky. All right. So we place our hand down, one on every note. That happens to be the 5th there, right? Now, we're going to start our scale here, and we're going to apply the formula tone, tone, well, that you've already remembered now. Tone, tone, semitone, 2 tones, a semitone, 3 tones, a semitone, right? We're going to start on G, right? We're going to say root note first, okay? Because G in itself is not a tone. First tone is the A. So we go, root note, right? Tone, tone, semitone, all good so far, all white notes. Tone, tone. Oh, that's wrong. That's a semitone. To make it a tone, we have to sharpen that 7th. Tone, semitone. So we remember that if we're looking at the diagram here, we can see between 1 and 2 is a tone, between 2 and 3 is a tone, 3 and 4 is a semitone. 4 and 5 is a tone, 5 and 6 is a tone. Now, and between 6 and 7 is a tone because there's a note between. We know all about tones and semitones now, right? And we got 1, we're back to 1 again, okay? You see what we had to do here? We had to, the 7 was, if we left it on the white note, it will be the key of C. It will be every note in the key of C. Although we're starting on G, it's actually a Mixolydian mode, but if we put the 7 down back, it wouldn't be a 7, it'll be a minus 7. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minus 7, 1. So in order to turn that into the Western major scale, we have to raise that to make it a 7, right? A major 7th is just semitones below the 1. You know all about intervals now because you saw lesson 2. So you really need to see lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, because I'm designing these. If you go through the lessons, 1, 2, 3, the time we get to lesson, I don't know what it's going to be, but you'll be able to listen here, any song and play it by ear, and you're going to merge the theory together and have it all. Not just relying on ear. There's a lot of people that are very, very good at just listening and playing, right? They're very good at that, but their theory might be lacking, right? So, we can't predict what someone else is going to do, and I find when those people getting together, they're very good, but they're very haphazard. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you're doing this. Instead of knowing exactly what everyone's doing, they sort of start working it out. And that's fun. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. But if you can know your theory, and someone just says, "Okay, we're gonna play, this chord progression, or we're gonna be in this key," and then they know when it comes out, that's going to be a bit more helpful, isn't it? And in a studio situation, you can't waste time. You've got to get into it. Everyone has to know what they're doing, right? So when you're working with other musicians and you're paying money for a studio, you got to know what you're doing. I'm really going on, aren't I? I'm going off track. So, yeah, okay. So he's trying to tell me this is what happens. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. So you're going to key and G. So we're going to flow through these a bit faster now because they're all the same method. Okay. So observe how the interval pattern from 1 to 6, G to E, has the same melodic interval pattern as C to G. So if we look here, so we're on G, right? Root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, right? And we'll stop on E there, right? We'll stop on there, the 6. And we'll go to the C, root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, 6. That pattern there, if you look at the white and black notes, all these notes, right? Just visualise that pattern. It's exactly the same, right? Okay, as this pattern here. And even those 2 black notes, so that's the 6th there. So that pattern is the same as that. But the patterns will change, right? And when we visualize, in visualization section, you're going to really learn a lot about how to find these. But but we're just here, just applying the formula. So root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, right? For the G. Okay, let's continue. Now let's start on D now. So we're on D. So we're going around the circle of fifths. So if I put my hand down, starts on a white note, ends on a white note. Let's have a look here. So that's D, D. So we're going to start on D. Now we can play it here, we can play it here, we can play it down here, play it down here, here, up here. Okay. Root note, D. Root note, tone, tone, semitone, thumb under, tone, 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 semitone. Again, if you notice between G and D, D uses all the same notes as G. Remember the key of D, the key of G, right, had the F sharp, right? That third that we're looking here, which was the seventh, right? And all the other notes. So the only difference when we're starting on D, right, here, so the key of G had D, E, right? It had F sharp, had G, right? Had all these notes. Even though we're starting in this mode, it still had all these notes. What we've done here is we had to turn that that would have been a -7 in the key of D, because a -7 is a tone down. Intervals, remember? You know intervals. A -7 is a tone down from the 1. So we have to sharpen that. So there's a pattern forming here. And we're going to show you the circle of fifths. So you're going to see the pattern. Basically, as you go around the circle of fifths, everything gains a black note. It's on the 7th. Apply the formula starting on A now. Observe how the key of A uses all the same notes as D, except -7 turns into a 7. It gains a black note again, right? So we're in the key of A. We start on A, right? You can see that the C sharp and the F sharp was in the key of D, the previous key. The new sharp now is the G sharp, right? Before it gets, which is the 7th. So we're going to go root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And we're also going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we also can go 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6, 6, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 1. Yeah. So, and we can also do it like this. We can hold down the A. So now, now we're really hearing that interval. Once we're pressing them together, we're really hearing that interval. One, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. Now, when we're playing songs and we're learning with this method, we're not going to be saying numbers all the time. We're saying numbers so we can go from our head or our ears, what we hear, right, and also what we see, right. If we're learning a new song and we're seeing the numbers, we want to go straight to our hands. So from our ears to our hands, right, from our eyes to our hands. You have to say these things, and that reinforces. It's a bit right when you're learning. You write something down when you're learning something new. It reinforces it. By saying it, it also reinforces it. But your mouth will make mistakes. You'll see something and you'll say something else. I do that all the time. It could be I've got some problems, but my hand does. The hand knows where to go. Right. So we're root note A, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If you're finding these, if you're still at this point and you're finding these useful, and you've got any comments about how I can present this better, let me know in the comments, because I do go on. I've got these PowerPoints to keep me in track, right? And this fella here tries to keep me in track, but as you probably have noticed, I can wobble on. And really, most people just want to know the information, okay? But there is a lot of good information here, right? And little tricks you haven't seen before, right? There's a lot of little subtle tricks like that, you know, just that one, for instance, playing. You've probably never seen that before. I haven't anyway. I've been playing for 35 years and I've never seen a teacher teach like this. And I put it all in my book. Although I've invented some new stuff which I'm going to update the book. So even if you buy part A of the book, right, any revisions, right, will be free for you, okay? So I'm always refining this process. I'm always trying to think of better ways to teach this information, right? So that book will be updated and you'll have a lifetime. I mean, to learn piano for $25 and then the rest is up to you, but I'm still here to answer questions is a pretty good deal. It's a freaking good deal. Considering most people pay $50 on a teacher. And I used to teach, right, at $50 an hour I was charging. And I had some good students, but also had students that wouldn't practice. And they're happy to give you money. And I just can't, I just couldn't take the money for students that wouldn't practice. I just couldn't do it. Like, you know, I wanted to see them progress, you know, and the ones that did progress, that was fantastic, you know, because they were practicing. So it doesn't matter how good your teacher is. If you don't practice, forget it. Right? So it's all up to you. You want to learn piano, it's up to you. You've got to put in the work. It's hard work, right? But you can do a lot once you know piano, you know. Find your dream. If you're a young man, you'll find your dream girl. Just play her a love song, I tell you. That's going to get her. That's going to find her. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's keep on going. All right. Okay, I was going to run through these quickly. E now. E. All right. So we start on E. Again, E. It's just a root note, right? First interval is the 2. So we apply the formula to find it. Root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. All right? Go slowly. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 6, 7, 1. 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now, you'll find with my method, right, you're going to be doing a lot of melodic work, right? Melodic work, listening for melodies, learning by playing melodies, because melodies is the key to music. Most people, well, it's not, most people hear melodies, right? That's what they remember. Right? All the rhythm and all that is fantastic, but it has to work with a good melody. Right? So my system's very, very melodic. Apply the formula starting on B. Right? Observe the key of B uses all the same notes as E. Right? So the 2, 3 here. So 2, 3, the 5, the 6, they're the same as the key of E. Remember the key of E had those notes? So all those notes are the same. But the new acquired note is B flat there, which is the A sharp. Right? Because so we're sharpening, right? We're raising the minor 7, which would have been the key of E. So if I'm on the key of B, right, I'm pressing the key of B. If I just flatten that 7th, I'm now in the key, the previous key, right, which was the key of E. Although I'm starting on B and I'm playing, that's the key of E, but that's just playing a mode of the key of E, right? Okay, so, and that's the key of E. That's the Ionian mode, and that's the Western major scale, and that's what we hear. But playing any mode is very easy because you already know the notes to press. And if you know the notes to press, right, you can play any mode as long as you're playing those notes. You've already know the notes from the Western major scale. Continue. Okay. It's also very beneficial to know this, okay? The key of C has no black keys. the key of G has 1, the key of D has 2, key of A has got 3, key of E has got 4, key of B has got 5. So C, G, D, A, E, B, C, G, D, E, A, B. Sorry, A, E, B. See, the mouth makes mistakes. C, G, D, A, E, B, right? So being able to say them helps you to visualize them. You can visualize them instantly, right? But when you say them, it helps you to get to that visualization point, right? C, G, D, A, E, B. So let's continue. All right, let's have a quick look at circle of fifths. How's it going? Are you still with me? Don't know. All right, quick look at the circle of fifths. Oh, this video could go on because I've just been yapping on. All right, so you can see as we go clockwise around the circle of fifths, right? We go down in fifths, up the keyboard in fifths. You can see that we gain one black note, one sharp each note, each time, which happens to be the black notes until we get to F sharp, which this F sharp, it's the E, the -7 on the E going to the F, right? Because if that's F sharp, it has the 7th down there. But we only stopped at B. You can keep on going all the way around the circle of fifths, right? But when you get past C sharp, you get double sharps. And double sharps are confusing, and this system doesn't use double sharps, right? Excuse me, because I have got this cold, so you can probably hear a bit of my voice. I've been getting over it. So, continue. So, all right. So we're going to go now. So we're going to avoid the double sharps, right? And we're going to go anti-clockwise around the circle of fifths. So going down the piano, right? If you got C there and you go down the piano in fifths, right? Down the piano in fifths, you get to the F. Now, if you invert that, you're going up the piano in fourths, right? From C to F, going up the piano from C to F is a fourth, right? So that's why sometimes they call this a circle of fourths. But it all depends which way you're going up and down the piano. Not the way you're going around the circle of fifths, as a lot of people get confused. Right? It's actually both. So let's continue. Secret rule, as you're transversing clockwise, right, around the circle of fifths, all the notes from the previous key are the same notes for the new key, except the -7 needs to be raised to a 7. I hope that's clear for you now, going through all that. A semitone to be a 7th to satisfy, to be raised to semitone, to be a 7th to satisfy the melodic formula, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. The important thing to know here is the tonality as we go through each key, and it's the reason why fifths were chosen, changes by a single semitone. It's a smooth transition around. Okay, that's why that was chosen a fifth. Let's go back to C again. You already know that, right? So we won't do that. But from C, we're going to go down the piano 5, and we'll get to F. Right, down the piano in fifths, and we're going to get to F. Or we could go up the piano in fourths. Right? That's another way to do it. Right? Go up the piano. So you're starting C, go up the piano in fourth, because you'll notice a fourth is the inversion of a fifth. Right? We haven't spoken about inversions. We're going to revisit a lot of this information. So you're going to learn all this. Apply the formula starting on note F. Observe similarities compared to C. Okay, what we're going to notice here, okay, in the key of F, can you have a look at the key of F, and we'll just apply the formula first. So, root note F, tone, tone. Now a semitone, right, is up here on that B flat, right? So root note, tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Let's compare this to the key of C. What's the difference in the key of C? Well, if that 4 we're playing here, up here, was on the B, then all those notes would be in the key of C, right? Although we're starting on F, right? We're starting on the Lydian mode, right? It's still in the key of C. Right? The Lydian mode for C is this. It's a different scale altogether, right? But it's all the white notes, so we're in the key of C. Give it a quick mode lesson. So, in order for us to satisfy the formula tone, we have to take the -5. Here's a fifth, right? That's a -5. From your interval theory, remember that a -5 is just a semitone down. We have to take that -5 and flatten it into a fourth, okay, to satisfy the formula. Right? So what we're doing is we're taking the fourth note, which happens to be a -5, right, and we have to make it a 4, the interval 4, which is 2 tones, right? 2.5 tones. So 1, 2.5. We don't have to know it's 2.5 tones. We don't, because we're going to visually be able to find these very quickly. The third lesson, the visualization section, that's unique to my system. You're going to show you a way to find these extremely quickly. And it's got to do with bringing together grouping and a lot of memory associations. So you bring them all together and you remember it like that. Okay. So what we've done, we flatten the -5 to the 4 to satisfy the melodic formula. And again, a pattern's going to emerge. So as we go to the next one, right, we're going to go we're on F and we're going to go a fifth. We can either go, we're not going to go a fifth up the keyboard because we're going to get back to C, right? If we're on F, we're going to go a fifth down the keyboard, right? Now, a fifth down is that B flat. That's a fifth, that's a fifth, that's a fifth, that's a fifth. B flat's your fifth, right? You can also go a fourth up, right? A fourth is the B flat, remember? It's just the B flat. So, if we look at every note first on this B flat scale, you can see everything is the same as the key of F, except we have a new note there. We've got that 4 now. Now that 4 would have been a -5. If we bring that 4 down to here, we'd have, and that's again the Lydian mode, right? That's a Lydian mode. And now we're in the Western major scale, our good old Western major scale. So there's a fifth. That's a -5th. The E is the -5th. We need to flatten that -5 into a 4 to satisfy tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. So just start on root note, go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's it. We keep on going, right? You can keep on going all the way around, and we're going to go to E now. So again, E, what's the new note? Well, the new note, I can straight away say it's the 4. I know it's the 4 because that's the pattern, right? It's a pattern. So we start on E flat. Tone, tone, semitone. See? Semitone to make it a 4. Then up here, tone, 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 semitone. Okay? And again, don't forget, we're going to learn the finger. Don't stress out about finger numbers right now. We're just trying to get this in your brain so you understand the relationship, okay? So we're going to do the fingers in the next lesson, right? Because this lesson is just going on and on. We're not going to go that fast, right? We're going to go. Oh, I'm still going fast. We want to go slow. When we play them together, we can really hear that interval sound. And again, we're going to go, so 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 6, Now, with your hands, right, we're going to be learning more of this, but when you're reaching in the notes, you're going to do all sorts of different types of things with your hands, right? One of the common one is just that stretch. Just get used to stretching that little pinky, right? And bringing it back and forth. And again, you want to do this with both hands, all right? You want to learn your scale with both hands. So whatever you did there, you're going to mirror, right, with your left hand. But in the next lesson, we're going to learn left and right hand. So we're just looking at the right hand now, just to get the theory down. Hopefully, you're understanding now, and it's making a lot of more sense, right? And you can get this PDF. This will really clear things up for you if you go over this material again with the PDF. Apply the formula starting on A flat. Observe how the key A flat uses all the same notes as E flat, except again, that 4 there, which would have been a -5 in the key of A flat, have to flatten it to turn it to satisfy the formula. So we're in A flat, root note, right? Tone, tone, semitone, right? Tone, 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 semitone. Right? And we'll move on, because I think you get the idea now on how to practice it too. Apply the formula starting on the note D flat. Again, now D flat. Again, so every note here is the same as the previous, except that 4. Except the F sharp here. Right? We're on D flat. Root note, D flat. Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Okay? Again, practice. Don't forget to do this too. I know it's a little boring just to do that, but you can. But go slower, so you can start to make up some melodies. So have some fun. Right? So we're just listening to the bass note, right? Our ear, bass note, so we can really get that interval in our head. We're not it's just going in our subconscious, right? We're building up. The more we do, subconsciously it's building up. Not even thinking about it. It's just going to happen. It'll come out. You'll be surprised. It'll just, your ear will suddenly find the melody. Yeah, all right, it's a bit like the Karate Kid. Yeah, wax on, wax off, I know. But it works. It's just a bit of practice. But again, we're going to have fun, right, throughout this method. We're going to, make sure we have fun. There's no smacking your hands trying to get the notation right. We're going to have fun all the way. Lastly, apply the formula starting on note G flat. Observe how the key uses all the same notes except D flat. Again, that 4th. You see the 4th where it is there? It's on the B. It would have been a C, right? So we flatten the C, right? So, which is the -5, because there's your 5th, there's your -5. We flatten it to a 4th to satisfy the formula. Does the formula work? Let's see. Root note, tone, tone, yes, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Just a quick teaser for the visualization section. This is an extremely easy key to remember. Why? Well, it uses all the black notes. 1 uses all the black notes. Easy, isn't that easy? And the 2 white notes it uses, look at group 2. Remember group 2 was the 3 black notes, the 4 white notes, right? On group 2, the outer white notes it uses. So I can muck around and play things in this key, and if I just stick to the black notes, I'll be in key. Whatever I do, even if I don't know any chords at the beginning, if you're just starting out, you're not sure what you're doing, just muck around with black notes and just look down and see those notes, the F and the B. If you hit F and B, which is on either side of the 2 white notes, very easy to remember. Either side of the 2, that's a key of G flat. Right? So you scan the keyboard and you pick them all out with the white notes. Black notes are easy. You just press every black note. You scan the keyboard. You look for those white notes. So you're mucking around. And you look first before you hit it. So you're looking and mucking around, going, I'm going to get that B now. I'm going to get that B. I love that B. Now, if you've come this far on the video, this is the reason why you got to watch all my videos all the way through and put up with me, because I do have these little tricks. You're going to learn them in time anyway. We're going to go over them and over them with all the lessons. But you're going to learn ways to remember things, right, and learn quickly. All right, let's keep on going. So it's also beneficial. This is another memory association that we're going to put together, that F, right, has no black notes. B flat, oh sorry, key of C has no black notes. Key of S has 1 black note. Key of B has 2 black notes. E has 3. A flat has 4, right? D flat has 5, and G flat has 5. But G flat also has a white note, right, which is that F flattened to B. Because if that's G flat there, that would be the 7th. So, sorry, no, it's the C to the B, not the 7. That's going clockwise. We're going the other way. Would be the C flat, right? Flat. Now I confuse myself. The root note, tone, tone, semitone. C. I think I've got something wrong written here. Is a B. Oh no, that's correct. The C flat. There's the C. The note C flat, which is the note B. Oh yeah, okay. I was just looking at that. It was confusing me. C flat, right? I don't think I've mentioned this. You can sharpen and flatten any note, right? You can flatten C and you get C flat. But because we have a name for C flat, it's B, right? We don't ever say C flat, but that's what we're doing in G flat. We're flattening C into C flat, which happens to be B. Root note, tone, tone, semitone, which is the B. Tone, 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 semitone. Now a fifth is there, right? A fifth on the G flats here. -5 is there. So that's the same as the key of D flat, right? If we're using the B there, that's D flat, right? But we're going to flatten that -5 into a 4, now in G flat. So, the rule is, as you transversing, counterclockwise around the circle of fifth, okay, down the keyboard in fifths, up the keyboard in fourths, right? Either or. All the new notes from the previous key are the same notes for the new key. Except the -5, we need to turn that into a 4. So we need to flatten it, semitone, to get it to a 4 to satisfy the melodic formula, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. The tonality changes by a single semitone all the way around. Now, you can keep on going. Do I have the circle of fifths? Oh, no, I should have put it. You can keep on going anti-clockwise around the circle of fifths all the way around. Okay, you end up with double flats if you keep on going, because we flattened every note. We flattened all the notes, the white notes to black notes. We flattened the C to C flat, which is the B, and then we also flatten the F to E. There's nothing left to flatten, but if you keep on going around, you're going to flatten something you've already flattened and turn it and go back to a white note. So it's called a double flat, and it's really confusing. Double flats are really confusing, and we don't touch them in this method because we're trying to simplify things and not make things more complex. That's why they go around the circle of fifths the other way. But you can go either way and go all the way around if you like. And if you're really that keen and you've got a mathematical head or whatever, keep on going around and see what happens. Right? With the same idea, keep on going around. You'll see you're going to have to flatten, sharpen a black to a right that you've already sharpened back to a white. Too confusing, right? Examine the keys. Oh, I didn't even look at that last one. Let's press backspace, not delete. Use the estimate. Oh, okay. Exercises at home. I think we've covered a lot of what we'll be doing with exercises, but you basically need to revise all this information by getting the PDF, going over it. But just start on the key of C and just apply the formula: root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone. Look at the circle fifths, go around clockwise to the G, apply it again: root note, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay, just do that right up to B. We're going to stop at B. If you're keen enough, you can go on to F sharp if you like, and C sharp. Excuse me, I really need to get some water. Sorry. 1 second. I got some questions and answers coming up too. Okay, examine the keys C, G, D, A, E, and B, and investigate. This is getting really tiresome now. I think most people have gone to sleep, or I'm not sure. Shut up. And investigate. Sorry for saying shut up to you. All right. This is my daughter. My daughter bought, was there when we bought this. Differ by a semitone, changing the -7 to a 7. So again, what was exercise? Oops, sorry. Exercise 1. Oh, yeah. Now we're just examining. We try to go, as we go around, you're just investigating how that -7, right? So it's basically understanding, going over it again, this material, and understanding what happens with that -7 to the 7. It takes a bit to get into your brain, right? You've got to go over it a few times. The Western major melodic interval series. Oh, excuse me. So basically use tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to find the other key. So it's just what we've done in this lesson. Right? That's your homework. Examine the keys F, B flat, A flat, D flat, G to investigate how each key differs a semitone. We'll go through some questions and answers now. That's Pete. Why do we use the fifth to travel? Well, the reason... I'll bring it up so you can read it while I'm saying it. But it's because of the smooth transition, okay, of a semitone, a fifth, into the next key, and applying the tone, the Western major scale, which the piano is designed around, is a smooth transition. Right? So the tonality from the previous is almost very similar, except that one note, one semitone. What's a practical use for it? I'll give you a practical use case. So imagine you want to write a song right in the key of C, and it will be a verse, and the chorus is in the key of G. Now, by knowing that the difference between those two keys, C and G, is a single note, right? That F and F sharp, like key of C. If I hit that F sharp, if I hit that note F, right, I'm clearly in this tonality, right? Very clearly in that tonality of the C major scale. But let's say I want the chorus now to be G. Now, if I hit the F, right, and I want a chorus to be G, it doesn't have to start on G, just the key of G, right? If I want the chorus to be in the key of G, and I hit F, well, F's not in the key of G. Right? I've got to go up here. You can really pick that, right? It's out. Now, you might want that effect of G, and it's coming down to semitone is actually, it's used a lot in pop songs. It's very beautiful, right? And you might want to use that, bring that out. But if you want to move smoothly in this use case, and you don't want to notice it, what you do is you'd avoid that key. So you you avoid the key F leading up to the chorus. You might use it early on. You avoid it leading up to the chorus, because you know that F, right, is F sharp in the next key, but you want to get into G, so whatever your song's going to be, I mean, right, and you're going to lead up, right? So what you want to do, now I'm in the key of G, right? Now if I want to come back to C, I'm going to avoid that note, F. So your brain, you're playing with a tonality you in your brain, right? You've got C and you've got G. And you want to move from one to the other, if you want to do that. But you know that F and F sharp is the key, right, of moving. So you want to, that note, put it in at certain places to either accentuate the move, so you clearly hear the tonality change, or you can make it more subtle. And it's up to you when you want to do. Sometimes you'll hear a song come out of key and you didn't even notice it came out of key, though you will. When you're a good musician and you're playing, you'll hear it coming out of key, and you go, oh yeah, I know that's coming out of key. But it'll sound so smooth, right? But I love the coming out of key, like majors to minors, major third to minor third. It's beautiful. It's used so much. There's so many tricks you're going to learn with these lessons. Once we start to learn songs, you're going to learn all the tricks that pop artists use. You'll be able to write your own songs. Okay. Why is it referred to sometimes the circle of fourths? It's because of inversion. So a fifth is an inversion of a fourth. So example, the C. So C to G. If I take the bass note and bring it up here, this interval now is a fourth, because we know that's a fifth and we know that's a fourth. Right? So when you're transversing in fifths this way, right, coming down the piano would be a fourth, would be fourths. You transverse a circle fifths going up the keyboard in fifths, or going down the keyboard in fourths, and sharpen the minor 7/7 all the way around, right? However, it gets confusing and we have double sharps. Same thing, you go, alternatively, you can transverse a circle of fifths going down the keyboard in fifths, or going up the keyboard in fourths, and flatten the -5 to a 5. All this stuff is, just download the PDF on the description. I'm not giving it away for free, by the way. It's $5. But I think that's pretty fair. In lesson 4, you'll learn how to play all 12 Western major scales using a unique method, only the Akousunesis Method. You'll learn how to play them in a more interesting way. I've already mentioned that. That's coming next. So we're going to learn all the hands for all the keys in the next lesson. All right, well, that's it. Thank you for coming. This might have been longer than I would have wanted. But, I was just wanted to have a bit of fun here too. So I hope I didn't lose you. If anyone's not here, well, I'm talking to myself. All right, then. See you later, and I'll catch you in the next lesson. I'm still recording, am I? Okay, well, what are you even why are you here? Anyway, bye.